Let's be honest. Some legendary metal bands just don't know when to quit. The glory days are gone, the vocals are shaky, and the backing tracks are starting to do the heavy lifting. So yeah, I'm calling them out. Here are 10 metal bands the public says should finally hang it up before the legacy cracks. It's a controversial take, but fans and critics pointed it out long before I did. Now, let's talk about the Scorpions, another band who deserves respect. I mean, they've been rocking stages for over 50 years, and that's incredible. But lately, even their biggest fans are starting to say the same thing. Maybe it's time to stop. You see, Klaus Meine has battled through some serious health issues. He got breathing problems, nerve pain, even back surgery. And it's clear those high notes aren't as effortless as they used to be. Watch the shows from 2024, and you'll notice him pacing carefully, saving his voice, sometimes letting the crowd sing the toughest parts, and honestly, who can blame him? The man's a legend. But there's a difference between proving you can still do it and showing the world that you probably shouldn't anymore. The Scorpions have nothing left to prove. Maybe it's time to let that final "rock you like a hurricane" echo in peace. I love Judas Priest, and these guys helped shape heavy metal as we know it. British Steel, Painkiller, Screaming for Vengeance are all absolute landmarks. But if you've watched them lately, you know something's changed. Rob Halford doesn't sound like the Halford we remember. In recent tours across Europe and the US, fans have pointed out how often he struggles to hit the high piercing notes that once defined the band's power. Some shows even sparked debates online comparing his delivery to a fading echo of the metal god he used to be. And yes, Richie Faulkner absolutely shreds, but you can't patch over what's missing at the very front of the stage. When a band once symbolized pure metal intensity, but now powers through their classics with visible strain, it gets tougher to watch. Is stepping away now, while the legend remains intact, the most metal move they could make? Let me know, okay? And speaking of fading out, Iron Maiden have really reached a point where the strain shows. The last few tours haven't been about dominance, but about endurance. Bruce Dickinson is still a warrior, but he's clearly fighting his own voice on stage. He's leaning on lower melodies, spoken lines, or the crowd to carry moments he once launched into effortlessly. Fans have shared plenty of clips where he's pacing himself, missing notes, or pushing through passages that used to be pure muscle memory. And then there's the elephant in the room. Nico McBrain officially retired from touring in late 2024 after serious health issues. Without the backbone of Maiden's live sound for decades, it's already a different band. This isn't the Maiden of Powerslave or Life After Death anymore. Still legendary, but running on willpower and nostalgia. Maybe the most honorable move left is stepping back before the legacy starts to crack. Deep Purple fans, don't hate me, but sometimes the hardest truth is the one we don't want to talk about. Ian Gillan recently revealed that his vision is down to 30%, and even admitted retirement isn't far off. Yet the band is still touring and pushing toward a 2026 album. Touring while your eyesight is fading and your energy slipping? That's a dangerous path. I don't want to watch legends slowly collapse under nostalgia. Deep Purple's peak, with the screams, the riffs, the sweat, and the intensity belongs to a specific era. Today's shows might capture bits of that old fire, but the risk is real. Keep pushing, and the spark turns into routine, and routine turns into disappointment. So maybe it's time to let Deep Purple step away on their own terms while the legacy still shines, instead of fading into a version nobody asked for. I think this will spark heavy debate, and I get that. But we can't ignore Metallica. I love this band. The biggest metal act on Earth and absolute icons. But some of the recent M72 tour footage raised eyebrows. James Hetfield sounds older, often rewriting melodies, shortening lines, or letting the crowd take over the heavy lifts. Fans who saw shows in Paris, Phoenix, and Copenhagen in 2023 and 2024 called parts of it rough, uneven, or not the Metallica we grew up with. And although the production is massive and the staging is wild, if the voice at the center has lost some fire, everything around it feels dimmer. Then there's Lars. Fans keep arguing that his timing gets looser every tour, and even supportive diehards admit the drumming isn't what it used to be. I think even these giants reach a point where stepping back becomes the hardest truth. Now let's talk about Megadeth. This is a band I genuinely admire, but one that looks closer to the final chapter than their beginning. Longtime fans admit it. Dave Mustaine is a thrash pioneer and a survivor, but his voice has clearly changed. He's talked openly about struggling to hit certain pitches after neck surgery, and the band even tuned down live to help him out. If you scroll through fan shot clips from the Crush the World and Destroy All Enemies tours, you'll hear it. Some songs sound strong, others get talk sung or drift a little flat. Reviews still praise the band, but a growing number of fans say it with love. Megadeth's legacy is secure. And once again, maybe the most dignified move is choosing the right moment to stop before the strain at center stage starts to outweigh the legend. The next metal band many fans bring up when talking about acts that should finally retire is Manowar. For decades, they were the definition of power. Louder than everyone, bigger than everyone, and proud of it. But even metal warriors reach a point where the armor gets heavy. Eric Adams is still a legend, but those massive heroic vocals aren't the effortless thunder they used to be. Recent tours show him pacing himself, reshaping melodies, and leaning on safer deliveries to get through songs that once felt like vocal marathons. Joey DeMaio still commands the stage with confidence, yet the overall energy feels slower, more careful, and more nostalgic than mighty. And that's the thing. Manowar built their entire reputation on unstoppable strength. They already won the battles, captured the myth, and proved their point. When you can't deliver like you used to, it's time to stop.
Swing your hammer to crack the sky. Lift your king to the Jew by fly.
And then there's Queensrÿche. This band with a history so rich that seeing where they've ended up feels bittersweet. The musicianship is still sharp, but the spark that made albums like Operation Mindcrime and Empire Legendary comes and goes. Fans often say that without Jeff Tate, the voice that shaped their identity, something essential never fully returned. Todd LaTorre delivers with skill, but the magic feels different, more precise than powerful. Recent shows reveal a band honoring its past, yet emotion doesn't always land. Some performances feel cautious, with the chemistry being more mechanical than mystical. And that's what many fans note. Queensrÿche pushed metal into theatrical cerebral territory, proving the genre could be as dramatic as it was heavy. But when effort starts to overshadow impact and the legacy outshines the present, maybe the most respectful move is letting the name rest where it still shines. Now, this next band, Anthrax, is a tough one. Their legacy in thrash is undeniable. From Among the Living to Persistence of Time, they helped shape an entire movement. But when you watch them live today, something feels different. Joey Belladonna is still a strong vocalist, but years of touring have clearly taken a toll. The big notes are shorter, the phrasing looser, and the once explosive delivery sometimes feels more cautious than commanding. And the long breaks between tours, shifting plans, and uncertainty around new material don't make things easier. Fans still show up because they love those classic riffs, but nostalgia can only carry a band so far. Anthrax used to sound like pure adrenaline, fast, wild, and unstoppable. Nowadays, it sometimes feels more like they're pacing through moments that once came naturally. Time to retire, guys. And to end this list, I want to talk about Slayer. Yeah, I know they retired in 2019, but listen up. Because when it comes to Slayer, the conversation never really stops. Every time a reunion rumor surfaces, fans flood the comments with the same plea: don't come back. And honestly, they might have a point. In those final years, you could see the band pushing through real strain. Tom Araya's voice softened. The screams lost their bite, and his movement on stage slowed to almost nothing. It looked like as if the physical toll had finally caught up with him. And without Jeff Hanneman and Dave Lombardo, many longtime fans felt the true essence of Slayer had already slipped away, replaced by a version running on momentum instead of fury. That's why so many say the farewell tour was exactly right. Heavy, emotional, and final. Coming back now wouldn't revive the magic. It would expose what's gone. Some legacies are strongest when they stay untouched. So there you have it. 10 metal giants who shaped the genre and left a permanent mark on heavy music. But maybe it's finally time for a well-earned final bow. I respect every one of these bands, but there's a fine line between keeping the fire alive and dragging the armor long past the battlefield. What do you think? Did I miss a metal band that really should call it quits? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I try reading them all. And if metal runs in your blood, hit subscribe and keep this channel going.